Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mystics of Texas, where we're talking about something that's very difficult, and that is communication. It is not easy to do. It can cause us a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of pain, and we have had an abundance of that recently, and I thought it was just uncanny that this happened to be the topic that I put together this past Monday. But it's the only way to maintain really strong friendships, is to communicate. Like, you can't do it any other way, whether it's with a spouse, your friends, your whoever. It's just important. And there are a bunch of barriers to that. Like all the fears that we have. Like, God, what if I mention how this person hurt my feelings and I don't want to bring it up because I'm scared it might ruin the relationship, or then you let stuff fester. Our pride gets in the way. Like our pride, whew, man. And how do you even apologize? Like, some people just can't do it. Like, I know quite a few people that they know they did something wrong and they refuse to apologize for it. They'll just continue to go ahead and blame other people for their crap instead of owning up to what they have been doing. And we've everybody here, we've got a nice crowd today. We've probably all been responsible for doing this. And as long as we start to recognize it, it becomes easier to have a genuine apology. I mean, it just does. And the role of self-awareness is a big, big deal. Like, what emotional triggers do you have? I was told today and yesterday that I personally am an emotional trigger for some people. And because I'm blunt and I just don't hold back. But an emotional trigger in a positive way. It wasn't like, terribly negative. But it was fun. Because I'm like, well, I can see that. I can see how that's true, especially if you're insecure. I mean, I'm probably the wrong guy to hang around if you're really, really insecure, because I'm just going to call your bullshit out. I'm like, hey, stop that. I love you. Let's just love each other and stop being a retard. It's kind of, yeah, it's just kind of how it goes, and maybe I don't use the right words sometimes. Maybe I offend some people. I'm sorry. I get that. All I can do is just work on myself the best I can and try not to offend everybody. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But what are our emotional triggers? And asking ourselves why. Like, we have to communicate with ourselves, right? We have to ask ourselves why. Why am I feeling emotionally detached? Why am I distant? Why am I angry? Why am I hurting? And having these conversations. Kyle's been utilizing a great practice this week. He's been walking around here talking to himself. I do it a lot too. So, whenever y'all come out here and stay and hang out and you just see me casually walking around talking to myself, you're like, yep, knew he was crazy. That's okay. Because you have to figure out what's going on inside of you with all these anxieties and fears and all the crap that happens in life. It's really important. And the power of active listening. Man, how hard is it to listen and not respond? Especially when a spouse is like really irritated at you or something, or you got a really close friend and they're just like kind of drilling you. And for you just to sit there and absorb it, you just keep talking. And you got this 1,000,000-mile list of what you just want to fire back at. You're like, I just want to drill it and slam them right back down. And that's tough to be an active listener. It's tough to stop, to pause, to say, let the person I care about and love express themselves, and can I have the strength to shut up? Like, can I do that? Like, something we should practice and catch ourselves, because the only way to catch yourself is to be aware that you're doing it in the first place. You have somebody pop off to you, says something, and then your instant response is all of this crap. You just want to fire back. Instead, just take a deep breath. Because whoever you want to fire back at most often is somebody you love. Like, you care about them. So why do you want to slam them and go, I want to hurt you now because you're trying to hurt me? Yeah, that's probably a bad thing to do, right? How about our body language? When you're listening, the facial expressions. You hear somebody talking crap towards you, and then you're making all these weird faces like, all these, your face is saying everything right back to them. You're squinting your eyes at them. Your nose is ruffled. Your eyebrows are lifted. You're crossing your arms. You're standing like this. Like what is happening? We've all done that. Every one of us, including Bonnie. And that is something we should just be aware of and catch ourselves. And that's why we have a community. That's why we have friends. So we can say, hey, is that really the best way to be? Can we help each other, like, not intentionally hurt each other? I like the I statements whenever you're talking with somebody. Instead of just trying to blame the other person for what's happening, start asking ourselves, like, what have I done? What role did I play in this? Can you help me help this situation? Like, is there something I can do to resolve this issue? The I, after they've expressed themselves. What have I done for this? Can we work together in a very calm and loving place? Not, what have I done? I haven't done that. I'm not talking about that kind of I. I'm talking about, what can I do to make this better? Me and Brad had a conversation about this being vulnerable. I mean, that's tough for men. It's really, really hard for a man to be vulnerable because, I'm me man. Me ancestors hunted, my dad took me to the woods, like, come on now. Come on, does that mean you can't openly share your feelings and emotions and thoughts? Instead, we just let it bottle up and we refuse to be vulnerable because vulnerability may hurt. It may be painful. It may be emotionally damaging. Like, oh, I don't know. What if I tell Steve something that is really bubbling up in me, and I don't want to tell Steve because then Steve may think differently about me. We have that with what we consider good friends all the time. I don't know. Fear gets in the way of a lot of crap, doesn't it? This one used to be a really big one for me, is practicing empathy. I would look at somebody and I would automatically judge them to be an asshole. And I would say, all right, well, you're an ass. And I didn't care or didn't even consider what was going on in their life that was causing them to act in a certain way. I didn't know how they were thinking. I didn't know if they just lost their job. I didn't know if they just lost their wife or spouse or friend. I didn't know if they got laid off. I didn't know if they're having financial trouble. I didn't know if their wife just left them. I didn't know any of that thing. I just saw them in a weird mood. And my first reaction was, asshole. Yeah, kept walking. I mean, that is really not a healthy place to be. It's just not. We shouldn't automatically jump. We should automatically think, I don't know what's wrong with that person. I don't know what's going on in that person's life. I don't have to automatically jump to conclusions that I don't know anything about. I don't know. What if Randall came in here and he didn't smile at me? Would I automatically think, well, Randall's an asshole today? I shouldn't do that. I should automatically go, hey, that's my friend. What's going on, Randall? You okay, brother? If you don't feel like talking to me, that's okay. I love you. I'm here for you. Like, shouldn't that be our automatic go-to? Instead of, well, Jim's being an ass today. It shouldn't be. I think this is really important, and this is why I asked y'all before we started that we should be getting together more. The more common experiences we have with each other, whether it's anybody in our lives, we create stronger bonds. We create friendships that we get to know each other better when we do stuff together. Whether it's our self-defense stuff, whether it's hanging out here on Sundays and then eating together after, or going to do Tai Chi or meditating. All of these things create a shared experience where we get to know each other better. And we should help each other just outside of these rooms here. I think it's really important. And I think it helps us just be better humans. Like, it makes the whole experience of living a lot better when you have trusted friends. Like, there's not an ulterior motive. There's not some agenda. There's not some anything. There's just, hey, I'm here for you. I love you, dude. What is better than that? Just a mutual support group. It's like really cool. It's just really cool. I would like to ask y'all, and everybody at home, everybody has a little clique they're involved in. And if your clique's bad, find a better clique, But get with each other, visit, talk, reach out. Like, I've been so proud of Thomas for living outside of his comfort zone. It's not even outside of his comfort zone anymore. If I had to guess, I would say this is Thomas's comfort zone. Like, he's made it his own, where he just wanted to hang out and be alone. Kyle's done the same thing. I just want to go hide. I don't want to go see anybody. I want to live in my little bubble and I'll protect myself. Screw you, world. I'm Kyle. I'm Thomas. Like, no, then all of a sudden you open up. Now you got this beautiful relationships. We meet, talk, send each other stuff. I mean, like, that is the beauty of reaching out. And how about just asking for help? Like, no matter what it is. That's what I was talking about, sharing with each other. Why can't we help each other in our own endeavor? Like, why would we not do that? Like, why wouldn't we ask Raina, hey, Raina, those candles, those smell great. I'd like to help you succeed. I'd like to tell somebody about it. Jim's book's pretty good. Why not share it with our friends? All of those things that I mentioned before. We have a lot of people in our community here that do a lot of different stuff. We should really help each other do our stuff. As long as it's good and they're not, producing crap. If Raina's candles stink, we should tell her, like, hey, your candles smell like shit. Can you change the fragrance a little bit? Like, that's what the community's for, right? Like, that's what it's for. I mean, it's like this big, huge, powerful tool of communication that the infinite has given us, and we shouldn't squander it. We should use it. We should just use it. That's what I was just saying. When somebody does something good, like, we should pat each other on the back. How good does it feel to be recognized for something cool? Like, me and Brad do this Thanks Mom podcast every 2 weeks. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. Well, that just feels good. Like, it just feels good when somebody says, man, I saw that and it really resonated. Good job. You're like, hell yeah, good job. You just feel good. Right. So like and subscribe. Go to Thanks Mom. It's pretty badass. We just have to know that we don't know everything too whenever we are communicating. Like, we don't understand what the infinite energy is. We don't understand what time is. We don't understand so much. So once we understand that we don't understand, life becomes a lot better. We're not forcing crap down somebody's throat because we're some absolutist and believe this is the only way things are. Like, come on, people. First of all, you don't know shit about shit. Like, that's true. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago, scientists don't even understand what consciousness is or where it comes from. You can't understand it. You can't. That's why meditation, I believe, is just a gateway. It's a gateway to ourself. It's a gateway to the infinite field around us, which is a fact. That's not some fairy dust, woo-woo crap. I mean, there's an energy field around all of us. And it's just real. We should tap into it with our meditations, with our breath work, with our energy movements, whether it's Tai Chi or Qigong, all the things that we do here. And if you're on the couch eating a pizza, come out on Sundays, do something productive. Do something productive. And mindful meditation. Man, meditation was hard for me at first because you just get all this crap, running through your head. Kind of like with communication, sitting with somebody. All of a sudden you feel like you're under attack, and maybe you're not, maybe you are. And then all of a sudden you have a rush of thoughts, and you start to learn how to control that a lot whenever you start to meditate. Because you have all these random thoughts. You're like, okay, thanks. Thanks. They just seem to not ever stop. And then, you just keep practicing. You don't quit. And you start visualizing outcomes of situations. You start to think about what you love and what you want to preserve. Just loving kindness. Man, when you just sit down, meditate, just start thinking about how lucky you are. Like, man, like how lucky Billy is for having Bonnie. How lucky Megan is for having all of her kids. How wonderful it is to have Jill. How grateful I am to see Steve most Thursdays. How grateful I am to hang out with Dean all the time. This wonderful relationship I have with these two people. Like, just start to just be grateful. Instead of feeling all these negative things, like that person's out for me. Oh, man, nobody's really thinking about you. Nobody's really thinking about me. Like, everybody's just thinking about them. And So just cut out all the crap. Just cut it out. And just be calm. Most people we talk to is somebody that we care about. So just be calm. It's not that difficult. I mean, it is at first if you're, emotionally unstable. That's a problem. But you can work on it. You can just work on it. This is going to be a thing real soon. It already is, but visualizing the outcomes of situations when you communicate. Outline something. Like if I got a problem with Brad, I should tell Brad, hey Brad, I have this issue with you and I'd like to talk about it, and the outcome of our conversation I would like to be a resolution so we can continue to love each other. I've not had an issue with Brad, but if I did, that's how I would approach it. Same way with any of y'all. Like, hey, I did it sort of quasi with Bonnie with her halfway side hugs. I mean, I call her out all the time on that, but that stopped a long time ago. Well, because she doesn't know you. You got to earn some trust. This stuff is, it's important to visualize the things that we want and to express it, and express it in just a really nice, positive way. And to me, and I've expressed this a lot to everybody that listens at home, the almost 23,000 subscribers, thank y'all. And in our group, to love each other. Like every time somebody walks in that door, it's always amazing. Everybody walks in and the energy here has never been bad, at least from my perspective. I've never had anybody come in here and like, oh, this is bullshit. I don't want to be here. Like I've never seen that ever in the many years that we've been getting together. Everybody comes in with a positive vibe. I mean, even when Laura is irritated at Steve, she'll come in here and be as nice as can be. And that's fact. Because this is a wonderful, beautiful, caring, trusting, safe place, and we all need those things. We all need them. So we should send out love. We have a lot of people that are sick today, like Matt, Andrew was busy. We had a couple other ones I don't remember. But we need to send them love. Like, whenever people aren't here, maybe before we eat, maybe before we start, maybe when we're meditating in a little bit, we'll just, hey, I hope everybody gets better. I hope everybody's okay. All the people that we care about and love. Those things matter. They matter in a big way. And this is something really big. We're going to have a pretty good presentation on this sometime in the future about how do we connect our inner worlds with our outer worlds. It's a big topic, and it's a really, really, really big topic. But there are a lot of things that we can do to build our inner health and our connections with everything else. Everything else. Just be aware of your energy. Like when you're getting pissed off and somebody's talking to you. You know you're getting elevated. So if you can be aware of that and the inside of yourself, don't try to steal their energy. It's easy for us to want to be a thief of somebody else's energy. And when we feel attacked, we want to attack back. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. One of the first things you learn in self-defense is you don't need to swing. You don't need to kick. You don't need to put them on the ground. There is a real situation for you to walk away. I don't need to kick your ass. I don't need my ass kicked. Sometimes we need to understand that. Same way with verbal communication. I think, and this is what I've lived by for a very, very long time, is just be straightforward, as truthful as you can. Try not to hurt anybody's feelings. That's a difficult one for me because I do it accidentally all the time. Like, hey, what's your problem, retard? Like I shouldn't say that. It just comes out that way. And, I have to catch myself, You just don't want to cause any harm. And if any of that resonates with y'all and you need a safe, trusting place with good friends, then come out. Only if you have really good vibes or if you want really good vibes. Just don't bring a bunch of shit here. I love y'all. See ya. Peace out.